Hello, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this briefing with survivors on the situation in Israel and what happened in the recent weeks. This is probably one of the most difficult event briefing that we have done in the Combat Antisemitism Movement. We have witnesses, horrors that we have believed that we'll not have to see in 2023. The dramatic incidents that put all Israel under an immense threat really remind us that the horror of the Holocaust have not been learned by everyone. The fact that we have Jews that needed to hide themselves, that have been butchered, murdered, slaughtered, and more, and I will not describe right now, it's something unbelievable that your world had witnesses. Not like the Holocaust, today we are able to share our stories and to make sure that the world knows, that the world is aware of what happened to our people, that the world share what we have witnesses ourselves. We are not alone this time. We have allies, we have friends around the world. They need to know. They need to know what happened to Jews in Israel in 2023. This is why we ask everyone to join this briefing, so we are able to share. We are able to tell the stories of those that survived. Yes, survived the crimes of Hamas. And it's terrible. Today, Israel is fighting to defend itself, to eradicate Hamas from Earth. Yes, we don't accept to have such terror organization existing in the world. And Israel will make sure to represent Western worlds, Western democracies, to eradicate such terrible organization. Today, we're going to start by hearing from Sima Vaknin, Brigadier General from the IDF in reserve, about the exact situation on the ground and what's happening right now. We're going to move to hear from 4 different survivors that have been in different places during the massacres that happened. From Yoni Asher, from Michal Rav, that was in Nirim Kibbutz, from Almog, coming from Beersheva and Alon, that were survivor of the Nova Festival massacre, and Galia Sofer from that was hidden with her family in a kibbutz and survived the crimes of Hamas. So to start, I will invite Sima Vaknin to provide a briefing on the situation to everyone.
Hi, everyone, and sorry to meet you under these circumstances. I would be very brief because I think it's even important to hear from the survivors, because I think their stories would be able to tell you who is it exactly that we are dealing with, which is Iran-backed Hamas terrorist, Muslim Brotherhood extreme ideology that we saw the manifestation in Gaza Strip. But I would like just to share with you where we are right now, and I will talk in 3 different levels: tactical, operational, and strategical. And it would be very brief. I would love to elaborate if someone wants to understand more. So we are in day 6 of the war that was imposed on us by Hamas terrorists. We are now in what we in the IDF call the period of waiting and organizing. Once the chief of staff and the political level decide on the goal and the specific tactics, the troops that already gathered on the southern arena would be able to act. We were surprised. It's a failure, it's intelligence failure, it's an operational failure, but as a whole, we were surprised. I have to say that sadly, Hamas was able, through deception, diversion, storming with more than 2,000 terrorists into Israel, something which no one, even in the worst case scenario, thought of, and simultaneously attacking by air, by sea, by ground, and underground. And they have managed to cause harm in a level that we haven't seen, I think, by the world have never seen in one terror attack. Right now, where are we? So we are in what we call, again, a stability period, meaning that right now we are doing more of the same. We are attacking more targets in Gaza Strip, only target Hamas-related targets. The problem is, of course, they are among civilian, so we have to evacuate them and then attack. And this is done mainly by the Air Force and other forces from the ground forces. We're still experiencing some penetration attempts into Israel, again, by air, by sea, by ground. Every one of them is being foiled or thwarted. Also, there are some terrorists who were left in Israel, probably part of their original plan, and they have gone all over, and we are hunting them one by one and killing them. The whole south, the whole settlements around Gaza Strip has been declared a closed military area. And what we are doing there is actually preparing for war. And this is war. This is not another round. This is not anything else we have known so far. And we are inflicting massive harm to Hamas. I think we can say for sure now that Hamas is not controlling everything. He has lost most of his capabilities. What we have seen so far is that Hamas is actually trying to change the brand of Hamas because it was so hurt by what everyone saw. And that's another indication that their situation is very tough. On the operational level, one sentence, we are looking to the north. We understand that Hamas threat is much, much smaller than what Hezbollah can affect on Israel. But on this case, we have the element of being prepared in advance. We have the fact that all the troops are already deployed in the north. And we, from the beginning, everything they have tried to check us, we attacked back and made sure they understand the message. On the strategic level, just three sentences I would like to say, or three issues I would like to raise. One, which is very important for the next phases of the war, not because it's kind of a debrief backwards, it's the issue of misconception. We made a mistake about capabilities. We made a mistake about intention of Hamas. I have to tell you that for a year, more than 2 years actually, since Guardian of the Wall, they reinforced what we believed was their strategy to rebuild Gaza. We really wanted to believe that they want to rebuild Gaza. They took the money from Qatar. They were quiet. They didn't respond when something happened. And they gave us the feeling that they were deterred and want to rebuild Gaza, which reinforced the misconception in Israel. And what happens was that not only they have built that, is that everything that happened on ground was interpreted through the spectacles of this misconception, and therefore no alert. Right now, as I've said, the table has turned. Biden's saying to Israel, I think this is one of the most important things, Biden's speech and what US is actually doing in favor of Israel. It's not just what he said, it's also the timing. It's also who did he address. He didn't address the Israeli audience, although he also did that, but he mainly addressed Iran. He mainly addressed Hezbollah. He mainly addressed all those players who wanted to take advantage of what's happening. And the fact that he did that and also backed it with sending weapons into Israel, with putting USS Ford on our borders, that means that US mean business. One thing I want to say, Israel is fighting a fight of the West. It's not just Israel versus Hamas. It's the liberal values of the West against, sheer extremism and viciousness. And I think that the US understand that, especially after 9/11. And the last thing I want to say is, which is also on a strategic level, that we have the unity government, which is very important, also kind of a transmission to the world, especially to our adversaries. Listen, we are united. And on the level of the people of Israel, I would just use this phrase. It was the worst of time. It is the best of time. And hopefully we will come out of it with Hamas, as the chief of staff has declared just a few hours ago. The goal of the war is to wipe out Hamas. And I have to tell you that we cannot live with an ISIS on our southern border, and this is what we will do.
Thank you very much, Sima. Thank you for your words and for the briefing. I would like to invite first Michal Rav from Kibbutz Nirim. Michal survived the attack of Hamas in her kibbutz. She was hidden in a shelter by terrorists who massacred some of our members of the kibbutz. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing. And please, we'd love to hear your story.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. October 7th, 6:32 in the morning. alarms starting going off in our kibbutz all around us. We find ourselves running to the safe room, taking 2 children with us. My 3rd child sleeps in the safe room. It's her room, closing the door, trying to understand what's going on. It's been quiet for quite a while. Living on the Gaza envelope, sometimes you develop a sixth sense and you can sometimes sense when the escalation is about to happen. This time there was nothing. It was very, very strange because we couldn't find any information in the news and the alarms just kept going on. It didn't stop. It was just minute after minute, and we can hear the fire, the missiles, the rockets being fired behind our house. It was crazy. We haven't encountered this even in Guardian of the Walls. Very fast, my husband and I, we understand that this is a different situation that we're in, and it's really, really bad, going to be bad. I told my children, get dressed, put on shoes. The minute we get a bit of time to leave, we're running to the car, we're leaving. Meanwhile, my husband got prepared. He geared up, he put on his uniform, he took his weapons, patrolled the house, making sure we are okay, entering and exiting on short periods of time the safe room. I started packing a few things for my children. We're talking about almost 2 hours into this event. I'm going to my room to start to collect a few clothes for my husband and myself. And we start hearing bursts of shooting around us, but really, really close, something we're not familiar at all. We're looking at each other and said, this is strange. What is this? Is IDF? Can't be. Why they're shooting in the kibbutz? A few seconds afterwards, we hear a lot of shooting in Arabic, and the reality hits us. They penetrated the kibbutz. Our biggest fright just came to life, and I ran to the safe room, put on vest on my children. One daughter, I gave her a canister of pepper gas. The other daughter, I gave her a club. And on my son, my small son, I gave him a helmet to protect his body. I laid him down on the floor and I told him, whatever comes through that door, we fight. We don't go down without a fight. Meanwhile, the shooting starts in our house. I hear my husband's footsteps coming near the safe room. Shooting is getting closer and closer. Just over the door, he opens the door, comes in, shuts the door closed. He tells us he just shot a terrorist trying to get into our house. The minute he finishes the sentences, there was an enormous blast, a flash of light, and the whole safe room was with gunpowder, and the electricity was off, and we were distraught. We didn't understand exactly what happened. We had ringing in our ears. It took us a minute or two to start to understand what's going on. Later, we understood that they were shooting RPGs at our home. After that, they kept shooting at the door, the safe room door, and the iron window behind us. My husband gave me a gun. We were sitting there in the dark and we said, till the last bullet, whatever comes through that door, we're fighting. We're not going down. Meanwhile, I'm opening the phone. I'm trying to call for help. I called everyone I know. I opened the WhatsApp group of the kibbutz. I'm telling them, listen, guys, we have terrorists in our house. Call someone. We need help. I usually don't use Facebook. I'm very quiet on the Facebook, but this time I just used it because we didn't get assistance from anybody else. We're talking about 2 hours into this event now. We don't hear anything. Not a plane, not a tank, nobody. And we understand this is us for ourselves. This is our fight. We're all alone on this. All of a sudden it goes quiet a bit, and they move on. They move on to other houses because in the group WhatsApp of the kibbutz, we understand, we see that they're starting to enter other homes, and homes are being lit on fire, and safe rooms are being filled with smoke and people can't get out. We understand it's going on in other kibbutzes, and still nothing on the news, no army, no police, nothing. My husband is a police officer. He's also in a reserve unit in our area. He called everybody he knew. He said, you have to send somebody here, somebody, something. And people in our kibbutz, they just started using reporters, calling the reporters, telling them, you have to do something, start reporting, start telling people, send the army here. We can't sit here alone. We're being sit like ducks in the rooms. The minutes go by, every minute is like forever. And nothing happens. Every now and then, still we hear some shooting. We hear them entering the house. Later on, we understood that there were a few people coming into the kibbutz and they were looters. We hear the alarms of the cars going off outside. They were shooting engines and gas tanks and lighting cars on fire. And this goes on for 8 hours. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, finally IDF comes and they take us out of the room. We open the door, which was a bit crooked from the blast, but thankfully it was still, it held, and they didn't try to get in. We saw the damage. It was crazy. The whole house is broken and shattered, and metaphorically also a reality, because we understand that whatever we thought, Seema just spoke about it, the misconceptions that we lived, everything was shattered for us. And the reality that we know now is different. We don't know how to continue from now on and what is going to be. We understand that this equation has to change completely. You want to eradicate Hamas, you have to do it. Otherwise, there will be no one going back to live there. I think we've done our part. And my kids are trying to pick up the pieces. Every hour that goes by, we understand how big this tragedy is. They lose friends, they lose teachers, classmates, people just, that we know and living in the kibbutz or in other kibbutzes all around the Gaza envelope. And all we can think about is just getting out of there. They take us, we're being put together, everybody, in a place that in the center of the kibbutz, which is relatively protected. And hours go by, they divide us by groups, so we won't be everybody together after a while, so for the night. So they put families with small children in the kindergartens, which are also built as safe rooms. But nobody slept. Nobody could get some rest. We were just counting the hours, counting the minutes, just wanting to leave. And just on Sunday, around 12 o'clock in the afternoon, we get information that we're starting to be evacuated, and people can go home, collect a few stuff, go back to where we all were sitting and waiting. And then we leave as one big group. We leave together, some in buses and some in cars. Not all the cars were damaged. That's it. That's what I have to say from Sunday night. We are here in Eilat, and trying to move on.
Thank you, Michal. I have no words. Thanks for surviving. Thanks for being so brave to protect your family, your children. And until the last bullet, what you said, it's terrible. It's terrible that you had to do that. So we are with us. We are with you. Sorry. I have a question. Like, why? What do you tell to your children? How you communicate with them? How you try to empower them when you give as you said, something to your child, to the small one, to protect himself in case something happened. Now, how you explain him the situation?
It's how do you explain it to yourself? First of all, this is something that we also had to understand, and we had to figure out how we can communicate it to our children. We said, guys, listen, this is not just listen to us now. This is not something we're kidding. This is a really serious situation. Whatever happens, just stay close and just fight. We didn't tell them at the beginning that there were people in the house, but they understand, they heard. It's not something that we could, keep quiet. They were shouting all around us, and they heard the gunfire coming closer and closer. And my children are big. I have two teenagers, and my son is almost 10 years old. So they understand. They understood immediately.
They are big, 10 years old, and they need to go through that. It's not big 10 years old, it's a young kid. You shouldn't go through that. Are you planning to?
Big now.
It's big enough for Israel.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Belgium. At the age of 10 years old, I never saw a terrorist, never been in a bomb shelter in my life. Now the reality is different after serving the idea for many years. And are you planning to live back in Nirim and to go back in your kibbutz?
This is a very complicated question for us at this moment. You have your emotional side, you have your practical side, and you have reality. When that RPG hit our house, that is when everything was broken for us, and we have major trust issues with our country at this moment. We were there protecting, we were there from what we believe is the ideology. We love our country, but we feel that after this Saturday, we were betrayed. We were left to deal with all of the situation by ourselves. And as you mentioned, Holocaust. And if they don't eradicate Hamas completely, and if we still need the safe room, and if we still need Iron Dome, and if I still have to have the even smallest a chance to tell my children again that they have to fight for their lives again until the last bullet, then no, I will not go back there. I'm sorry. I did my part.
So first, I think that we all understand that and agree with you. The sense fighting until the last bullet shouldn't be accepted and shouldn't be in your mind, neither the mind of your children. And I think and I hope the world understand that and will support Israel to do the job until the last bullet of Hamas. And we're not going to accept Hamas to have any bullet. Michal, I would like just to end and share on behalf of the Combat Antisemitism Movement, which I represent, the 750 organizations, leaders from around the world, head of states, minister, mayors, state legislator, senators and congressmen. We are with you. The world is with you, and we support you. And if you need anything, we are here to help. The world will support you. And thank you for sharing your story today.
I just have one more thing to say, if I may. It's very important that this message goes out, and you hear as much as testimonies as you can. Make no mistake, this is a genocide. This is their main goal. So if you're with us, please be with us. Please put an end to this. We have to.
Thank you, Michal. I would like just for everyone to know, when Hamas infiltrated Israel, they infiltrated with 2,000 terrorists. Thanks to the bravery of people like your husband and many other soldiers, we fight back, and we didn't allow them to do what they wanted to do. They came with massive armament to make much more killing. So yes, they wanted to do a genocide. They were planning to kill many Jews as possible in Israel. So you're right, Michal. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to move on to two young men that during this weekend, in October 7, they were partying for life, for the joy of dancing, for the pleasure of being with friends, and to enjoy good parties, festival, music festival, things that young people love to do, things that build a world, make it a better place, because this is where we connect between everyone. This is where we enjoy, we meet people, and this is a place of peace. This festival turned to be one of the largest massacre of this Hamas infiltration attack on Israel. And we are very proud and very glad that we can present you Almog and Alon that have been there, that will share how they escape, how they survive. And thank you for agreeing to share and for being here and for your bravery to fight for your life. So we'll start with Almog. If you want to, please share your own story.
Thank you, and thank you for listening. So my name is Almog. I'm 30 years old. I live in Be'er Sheva, where I do my master's degree in brain science in a lab that study auditory perception. I love music. I love dancing, and sorry, I'm a bit overwhelmed from the I heard about the Nova Festival from two close friends of mine that recently came back from the Boom Festival. It's a big festival in Portugal. I want to first say that the trans tribe is an inclusive tribe of coexistence, and I dance on dance floors with people from Palestine and Iran and Russia and Ukraine and all over the world. And on the dance floor, we put our disagreements aside and like celebrate freedom and celebrate life. And we've been really excited towards this festival. Bar, my friend, came to my place in Be'er Sheva, and we drove together to the festival. We spoke in the way how excited we are that finally we're getting a chance to dance together after a long time. We arrived to the festival, and we arrived first from our friends, and the police didn't allow the people to get in yet because they still had the security checked and the approval of the festival. So we waited outside in the line, and we heard different languages around. We heard Portuguese, we heard Spanish, we heard English, we heard different languages. And finally, when the approval passed, we got in. And I have to say that it was one of the first festivals or parties that I've been in, that the interaction with the police was so positive. Like, I remember in the line, the police officers told us that they are here to allow this to happen, and they don't here to make it harder, and they here to allow us to do what we do and to enjoy ourselves together. So this is what we did. We went first to the camping area, set our tent up, and then the other friends arrived, and we went and started dancing and enjoying ourselves. It was a huge production. Like, we were shocked that they set this whole thing up just for 18 hours. We danced, and I remember, like, we went to the main stage for the sunrise. And after a while, we saw smoke of explosions in the sky, and then the music stopped, and we started hearing the sirens and the explosions of the missiles, and it started raining missiles, raining rockets and explosions, and the explosions of the Iron Dome trying to protect us. So everybody like start going towards the camping area, and this time we only were afraid from the rockets. So we found shelter in the camping area between the trees, and we lay there for a while. And we lay there until one security guard went between like all the people that lay there and start shouting, "Get to your cars, get out of here. If your life is important to you, get out of here." And we still only like it's raining missiles. Like we didn't know like what's going on. We only hearing missiles around. So after the security guard told it to us, we went to the parking lot. It was chaotic, like people running with stuff, leaving stuff behind, running around. In this point, I lost contact with my friends inside this chaos. I called my friend Bar that I arrived to the festival with him in his car, and he told me that he is already by the car waiting for me. So I went to the parking lot and looked for him. I didn't find at first the car, and I walked around when missiles exploding on the sky and like around. Finally, I found him, and we got together inside the car and looked around all the chaos. Like we saw so many cars jammed in the way out. And again, like in this time, we're still thinking that the threat is only missiles. So we decided to get out of the car because the car is in a dangerous place during a missile attack because the car can explode. So we decided to leave the car and find shelter by some trees. And we waited for the cars for the jam for the road to get clear a bit more. And after a while, when we see that it don't happen and the missiles keep raining at us, we decided to start making our way out with the car. So our strategy was to drive as much as we can, and like when we hear sirens or like when it's too many rockets, so we stop the car and find shelter, and then we come back to the car, drive a bit, and jump, find shelter. We continue this way until we one time that we found shelter next to some trees, we start hearing gunshots all around us. And this is like the moment that we understood that something is wrong. Like there is not supposed to happen. Like you don't supposed to hear gunshots, not for sure, not that many. So like in this moment, we shout to everybody, get to the cars and get out of here. And we ran to the car and we drove to the main road. We still like in the dirt road, like that next to the party area. We arrived to the main road and we looked to the left. We saw like a massive line of stuck cars standing there, like in the traffic. I don't know what. Like I didn't realize that like yet. And from the right side, we heard lots of gunshots. So my friend Bar that drove the car took to the right at first, and then we realized that the shooting coming from there. He turned to the left. He faced the traffic line, and then in swift decision he took into the field, into the dirt road of the field of the and we drove like on the dirt road parallel to the jammed cars, and we start seeing people panicking, like coming up from the road, from the cars towards the fields. We pick up two girls that were totally shocked, totally panicked. We put them in the back seat. I hardly remember their face. I just remember their curly hair. One of them were crying, like, and the other one was also panicked, but she tried to calm her down. We drove together in the dirt road parallel to the cars, and until we saw a police car in one of the intersections. The girls with the hope that they find safety with the police officer, leave the car and run to the police officer. We asked him for directions, and we saw that he confused us, and we decided to navigate ourselves. So I've been with the phone navigating and Bar driving the car, my friend, and I tried to get us to another road. We're driving towards this road, and as we get closer to the road, I see few cars like stop on the road and a white pickup truck standing right in the intersection between our dirt road to the main road. And we saw like a guy, a man with a army vest and a rifle walking by this truck. And we spoke, me and Bar, my friend, spoke that like, no way that like there is terrorists here. Like it must be a soldier. No way that terrorists come with cars. No way that we see terrorists with cars here in Israel. And so we got closer to him, and like in this moment, like he recognized us, and he went to the back of his truck and pulled out of there a machine gun, a huge one that like he hold with it, like, and turn it towards us. Like in this moment, it was clear that it was a terrorist. Bar, my friend, again with swift decision, like just made a massive U-turn and start driving as fast as he can to the other side. We embraced ourselves because we were sure that we're going to get hit from lots of shots, and luckily, like we had one shot and assumed that the machine gun was jammed. I don't know, like, and we just got as fast as we can out of there, like navigating ourselves in the fields, in the dirt roads. I don't know if any of you know cars, like we drive a small Nissan Micra, like a manual one. We just having in our mind that it was sunrise and sun coming from the east. We know Gaza is from the west, so we just driving towards the sun. Hopefully, like to find safety there. On our way out, we passed like a hut of like workers from Thailand that walk the fields there, and we shout to them like, "Run away! Run away! There's terrorists coming! Run away!" And they give us the thumbs up. They didn't understand us. They just watching the missiles going above us, and we just trying to make a way like to the other side of the fields, because we saw that this side is full of terrorists. So we drove as fast as we can, and we found our way to the road next to Moshav Patish that was in the other side of the field. There we went up to the road and just drove as fast as we can. We passed through red lights. Every car that came by us, we've been like just like looking in the windows and see like if like we just been super alert. And finally we arrived to my house in Be'er Sheva around 9:15 a.m. and only when we arrived there, locking the door behind us, hugging each other and start crying, like we understood, like we opened our phones and understood the size of the colossal attack that we got saved from. It's still I try to block myself from hearing stories of other people, because I know that we got super lucky, and in a miracle we left out of her alive.
Yes. Thank you, Almog. We're glad that your life, 2 small decisions that Bar made that saved your life. And you saved also 2 young ladies with you, which is also something that you need to keep in mind. I'm sorry on behalf of all of us that you had to go through that. Hopefully you will recover. And as I told before, to Michal, it's the same to you. We are here to help, whatever we can do. Glad that you are safe. I know that we are supposed to move on to Alon, but we have, you will excuse me, Alon, before we move to you. We have, before you have Noemi Weiser, the mother of the staff sergeant, Roy Weiser, Zichrono Livracha, was killed by Hamas at the Kerem Shalom border crossing when the war started. So, Noemi, please, thank you very much. I know that you're sitting Shiva right now.
Yes.
And thankfully you could join to share a little bit of the story of your son.
Okay. My son Roy, we grew up in Efrat, the town that we live in. He went to high school here, and after high school he joined a pre-army program, and then he joined the army as part of the Golani Brigade. And he first did his basic training, then he continued to do a course to become a staff sergeant. Then he became a staff sergeant in that same course. And then he continued on to serve with his unit, where he was the staff sergeant of the unit. And that's where they were this weekend, when they were fighting on the Erez crossing, which is also where he ended up dying. The story of what happened was that it is also the weekend and there were less soldiers than usual. It's also a holiday. From our understanding is that the Hamas came with tractors and many terrorists and tried to take down the fence and killed quite a lot of soldiers along the way, unfortunately. And my son Roey, who was not at the time on duty, got word of this. They heard the shooting. They got word of this and he whispered to all the other soldiers around him. And he said, "I'm not your staff sergeant right now. I'm just another soldier. I have an idea." They understand that it was chaos. They understood that their base was being taken over. And he said, "Let's try to go around from the side and let's try to beat them that way." And my son Roey has always been an out-of-the-box thinker, very creative, and I don't know how he can come up with such a plan while they were being attacked like that. He took these soldiers, and they went around the side, and they managed in the process to not only shoot quite a lot of terrorists, but by doing so, he saved the lives of all the soldiers that with him, a group of about 10-12 soldiers, and managed to, in the process of this battle, he died, managed to shoot terrorists before he died. And their base was the only base that, their only station from all the stations along the border that was not taken down by the terrorists, that was still held by the Jews. Because of his bravery, not only was this base still functioning, but the soldiers survived. And besides the fact that it's a miracle that these soldiers survived, he was a hero, and we are so proud of him. I would have gone running the other way, but he's an Israeli soldier end to end, and we have no words for what he did. He died a hero.
Thank you, Nomi. As you have the sign, the face of your son with the Degel Israel, the flag of Israel, Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael Chai is the people of Israel lives. And thanks to the bravery of your son, more soldiers are alive today, and he fight like a hero. So on behalf of all those that are alive, thank you. Thank you for bravery of your son, and thank you for speaking today.
Thank you.
And I'm Israel Chai again. So, תודה רבה, Naomi. I would like to move back to the music festival as we start with Alon Marek from Haifa was there also. Please, Alon.
Hello, everybody. I'm hearing stories like these every day, and still it's so moving. So my name is Alon. I'm 24 years old. I'm from Haifa. I won't repeat what Elad said because I think he explained it really well. But the festival we attended to, it's a festival that was about celebrating joy and very colorful, and people from all over Israel and the world. And everybody just came to celebrate and enjoy. So my personal experience started at around 6:30 a.m. It was actually 6:29 a.m. exactly. I remember looking at my watch when the producers of the festival went on stage, telling that there are missiles, that there are rockets launched from Gaza into Israel. So we should all lay down on the floor, put our hands above our head, and wait a while until it will pass. It was enough just to look at the sky. You could see this tens of rockets being launched, and you could see the Iron Drone exploding, some of them while being in the air, so they won't explode in Israel territory. So yeah, you could see the sky actually with red colors. So after a while everybody was laying down on the floor, we understood that it won't stop anytime soon. So the producers asked us to pack all of our stuff and go as quickly as possible back home. So my friend and I, we came together with this car. We immediately went to the area where we had our tent and all of our belongings. We packed everything. We said goodbye to all of our friends that we met at the festival. And we went towards the car. It took us a few moments to find the car because there was a little bit of panic in the air, but we need to remember that sadly, it's not the first time that that Gaza and that Hamas terrorists are launching rockets on Israel. So everybody at the festival was quite aware of what you should do when something like this happened. And so there was panic. There was panic on the scene, but people managed it quite well. So me and my friend entering the car, we started driving towards the exit of the parking. As Elad said, there was a small jam, like everybody was trying to get out. And after 10-15 minutes that we arrived to the main road to exit the festival, you could turn either right towards the south of Israel, or you could take a left towards the north of Israel. Since we were living in Haifa, we took left, and there was a big line of cars that was formed. Everybody was trying to escape. And we started driving slowly, all the line of the cars. And about 3-4 minutes later, we're seeing all the cars that was in front of us doing a big U-turn and going back towards the festival. So everybody was escaping something. We didn't understand what, but everybody was doing a U-turn and going back towards the festival, which made no sense. So we arrived at a situation that we were the first car in the line because everybody in front of us went back. And we stopped and we looked in front of us, and maybe 200 meters in front of us, we could see cars on the sides of the road. So I took my head out of the window. I was looking. I was trying to search for why nobody was driving this road and what happened, and I didn't see anything. So I told my friend, like, I think it's the police that stopped, that blocked the road because maybe a rocket had fallen and there was an explosion or something, but it must be the army or it must be the police that are blocking the road, and that's why everybody went back. So we thought, okay, so this is the way home, this is the way we will take, and if it's the police, we would just find a new way to go back home. Never would I thought that I would see the scene that I'm about to share with you. So we started driving, and I look to my right, and I can see 3 police officers with their guns held in their hands, walking shoulder to shoulder, just besides the road, 15 meters away from the car. And they were close, like walking towards something. And then I look forward, and I can see 30 meters away from the police officers, you could see a minivan, and at least one Hamas terrorist that I saw with a big machine gun aiming at the police officers. And there was a gunshot starting between them. So I immediately shouted at my friend, put your head down, I can see a Hamas terrorist, and drive as fast as you can. So immediately he drives like a crazy. We put our head down and we pass this scene. As we're passing by, I could see all the cars on the sides of the walk that I saw when we stopped before on the road. All these cars, the windows were broken. There was blood on the road, which I later understood that just a few moments before we passed, this Hamas terrorist was on the road, firing at every car that was coming, firing at every person that was coming. And that was the reason that everybody went the other way in panic. So really, these 3 police officers, which I don't even know if they're dead or alive, I probably assume that they are dead, but really they took all the attention from us, and I think they saved our lives. They saved our lives. And so as we are driving, I'm like full of adrenaline. I'm telling my friend, yeah, I saw a Hamas terrorist. We didn't understand what was happening. And we're driving, and 20 minutes later, there was a rocket falling 50 meters away from the car. The car was shaking. The windows broke a little bit inside the car. There was a big cloud of dark smoke, black smoke. So we stopped maybe 1 kilometer away under a bridge to take cover. We waited for maybe half an hour, so all the missiles passed, because there was rockets flying everywhere. And then we returned home. We returned safely home, unhurt. And immediately I went to my friend's house. We sat with his family, immediately opening the news, starting to understand what was happening, and calling all of our friends that were at the festival, trying to see if they came back safely home, and to try and understand what they saw. And suddenly you've got your close friends that you were with in the festival that are not picking up, and immediately you fear the worst. And some are picking up and telling us we can't speak because we are hiding. And they brought this word twice. They said Holocaust. Like, it seems that you would imagine 70 years ago, but not in 2023, that people are running in the forest and hiding, and they can't speak in the phone. They can't make a noise because there are terrorists that are walking just beside them, and gunshots firing everywhere. And we could actually hear it from a phone call we did to our friend. Maybe 1 hour later, after we were speaking with our friends, we were checking the news, everything's happening really fast. And we see the first photo that Hamas posted, one of the first photos that Hamas posted, because I don't know how it's even possible, but the pride of Hamas is posting and sharing all the horrors that they are doing, all this terrifying stuff that they are doing. They're all posting it on social media. So we see one of the posts that Hamas put. It's a photo of somebody me and my friend knew that was killed. And this is how we discovered about the first person that died that we knew. And yeah, so it was a complete panic, and more videos that are coming. And I know a few friends that were killed, that I attended their funeral, and a few like me that came back safely at home. And I can tell you it's been a few days now that each morning I wake up and the first thing I do is I open the news and I'm checking if I know somebody that was killed during the night, maybe a soldier that was fighting with me years ago, or maybe they discovered a new body of one of the people I knew at the festival. And each morning it's the same thing, checking for people that you know that were killed, that were slaughtered. And yeah, so this is the image. This is what I experienced in this Nova festival. And yeah, this is my story. Difficult days.
Thank you, Alon. I have no words. You said it's running from bullets, hiding yourself as a Jewish person in 2023. And I think this is clear. I hope you will recover from what you've seen. And I wish you're not going to open the news and see more names that you know, and not in any names. Thank you very much, Alon. Thank
you so much.
We will move on. I think it's our last speaker of the day, to Galia Sofer from the kibbutz Miflasim, that you have been hidden while Hamas was attacking the kibbutz and you survived. So if you can tell us your story, Galia, please.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. And thank you for hearing us out. So, sorry, I'm just like hearing the stories of the other guys is pretty intense. So I live in Kibbutz Mefalsim. We are new members there. We've been living there for a year, and there's this tradition in Kibbutz Mefalsim where around the Sukkot holiday, a lot of the families would go to the field outside and we set up a camping. So Friday night we were there and we were all like camping with the kids and having fun. And my husband and I, because it's a minute by car, my husband and I decided that there was no reason for both of us to sleep badly, because, you know, in the tent with two kids, you don't really sleep. So we decided that he was gonna go back home, sleep well, and come pick us up in the morning. And at least that way he would be like with full energies for the day, and I would be recovering throughout the day. So we stayed, and around 6:30, I heard this noise that I prayed. I was like, please let it be rain. But no, it was rockets. Immediately I start hearing boom, 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 like nonstop. Like I've heard a lot of rockets before, but this was insane. It was such a big amount. And we were outside, we were in the field, there's no shelters there. So as I've seen, I've never been caught outside with my girls. Sorry, I forgot her name, but she said like living in the Gaza envelope, you develop this sense where you feel it's coming, We've actually left a couple times before things get heated, but this time it was a complete surprise. So as I've seen in the news, or as we've been trained to do, I jumped on top of my girls, and I could feel they felt safe. I was completely like shaking, and I started this mantra. I was like, you're with me, you're safe, I'm protecting you. You're with me, you're safe, I'm protecting you. And I couldn't even believe my own words because I didn't understand what was going on. I tried calling my husband, but he was at home and he had run to the shelter, and in the shelter there's no signal. So he wasn't answering. And these heroes from the kibbutz, these men came because they knew that there were a lot of families camping and we had no cars. So they came, they shouted like, who needs a ride home? Like who doesn't have a car? So I took both my girls. Fortunately, they don't weigh that much, so I could pick them up both and just ran. And they brought us inside. We ran home and we went into their dormitory, their bedroom. That is the shelter in our house. Every single house in the kibbutz has shelter. It's usually the kids' bedroom, and also in our situation. So we ran straight to the girls' bedroom, and I realized that second that there's no electricity in the house. So I'm like, okay, this is the situation, and we're gonna be okay. So we put the light from the phones, and it was like a Hanukkah miracle because we didn't have much battery, but it lasted. It lasted for a long time. And because we had no signal inside the shelter, and also no electricity, there was no AC, and the room was getting very hot, and without air. So we had to open the door, let some air inside, and also get our phones outside so that we could be communicating with the outside world, because we had no clue what was going on. Time started to pass, and we started hearing machine guns going around, and it sounded like close, but not that close. And people were panicking. All the WhatsApp groups from the kibbutz were like, where is this? What's going on? Can someone tell us something? And we were trying to stay calm. We understood that there had been terrorists inside the kibbutz, but we had no idea what was going on. So we were trying to get our girls to be quiet. And it's impossible when you have a 5.5-year-old and an almost 4-year-old, and all they want to do is jump and shout and smile and, be sisters and annoy one another. And I turned to my husband. This has been said a couple times regarding the Holocaust. So I turned to my husband and I told him, like, if we would be hiding from the Nazis right now, we wouldn't be alive anymore, because the girls can't keep quiet. And this is just an impossible situation. So we were there for hours and hours and hours. A couple families from the kibbutz called us, and they're like, listen, half of the kibbutz has electricity and half doesn't, because there was a generator that worked and the other one didn't. And we kept on hearing machine guns, and they were like, you want to come to our house? I was like, no way, I'm not leaving this place. Like, if I get out, is to get out of the kibbutz. I'm not getting out of my house to go to another house, not knowing if there's a terrorist hiding in the bushes or not. So we stayed at around 5 something, I think it was about to be sunset. We got this message, I don't even remember how, that said that we were allowed to leave, but it was under our own risk. So my husband told us, like, no, we are not leaving. And I was like, okay. We've never ever in any round, in any sort of situation like this, we've never stayed the night. We always leave as soon as we can, so that we can save our girls from all the emotional and psychological scars that likely now they'll have, and ourselves too. So this was the first time that we sort of stayed the night. Fortunately, we got beds for girls that are like bigger, so that we could at least lay down. Not that we slept around 20 minutes, and we would like wake up to another firing round or another missile or something, like all these very scary sounds. And around 3 a.m., maybe 4, we got a message that we could leave. There were some families that did leave when it was about to be the sunset, and one of, like, a lot of them, our friends, and they told us, like, listen, if you're getting out of the kibbutz, put the girls in the floor of the car and forbid them to look outside. Just forbid them, because this is images that you're never gonna forget. And so we opened the door of the house and we see a lot of soldiers outside. And by then I knew that there were terrorists that had taken the uniforms of soldiers. So I was like, for a second, I was praying, like, please, please let it be actual true soldiers and not someone that's gonna come and do horrible things to us. So it was soldiers. They took us to our cars and we thanked them and prayed that they will be safe. And so my girls were very, very strict with them putting their seatbelts. And this was the first time in their lives that they were not with the seatbelt. So they were actually quite happy. And they were like talking among themselves, like, oh my God, we're without seatbelts. Can you believe it? And I was just like so happy that they're so naive and so young, and hopefully they will recover from this much faster. So we left the kibbutz and we started seeing these horrible things that look like the apocalypse. Burnt cars that have been gunned down, bodies, a lot of bodies. Inside the cars, outside the cars. Just like images that I don't know how to describe. And we just went and went and went and went. And at some point we started, we were going to our friend's house, in Oda Sharon, like in the center north. And there were like police, there were some police checking cars. And again, I was like, please let it be police and not terrorists disguised as police. So we got lucky. We arrived at our friend's house at 5 a.m. They fed us. They allowed us to, like, they took care of us, and it was amazing. And now we are in a hotel with our community, with families from the kibbutz, where we're receiving a lot of food and clothes and every single material thing that you can think of. We also have a lot of social workers coming and talking to us and everything. I'm overwhelmed. Kibbutz Kfar Aza is right next to my kibbutz. We've lost a lot of friends, a lot of people that I work with. I know that they're kidnapped. I don't know how we got so lucky. And why others didn't. But yeah, that's my story.
Thank you, Galia. Sorry. I'm sorry that took me time to react. I'm myself a third-generation Holocaust survivor. My grandfather is 92 years old. He survived the Holocaust in Belgium. He was hidden during the Holocaust in the bushes to not be catched by the Nazis. And to hear the stories that we promised to the world that never again means never again. And it happened again that Jews have been butchered in silence. And the world was not ready for that. I think that we made a big mistake to not listen to the words of Hamas when in their charter they declare clear and loud, and it's written in black and white, that they want to eradicate the Jewish state. And they said it, and we didn't listen to them. And they continue to say it for years, thousands of years. They proved themselves by launching rockets after rockets to Israel, years after years. And then they commit this crime. We made a mistake at the Western world to not listen to the words of Iran, the words of Hezbollah, and the words of Hamas. I believe and I hope that this was a call to the world that we cannot accept anymore any organization willing to destroy the Jewish people or any other people in the universe. Hopefully we're going to understand. As we spoke today, we had an infiltration attempt in Kisufim, an alert in Metula, rocket alert in Metula, another barrage of rockets in Ashdod, and it continues, and we just saw on screen the daughter of Galia, and thanks God, really, she's alive, you are alive. And I start with the Holocaust, and I would like to finish. I know we spoke about that a lot, but we have the duty to tell the stories. I never imagined in my life that I will interview survivors in Israel, call them survivors. It's unbelievable that we do that, but this is the reality. And the world needs to know, because Israel will react, and we need the support of everyone. The survivor will need support. They will need to feel heard, and that we are with you, and we're not going to let it happen again, for sure. And I think that our generation, when we say never again, it is never again. And hopefully the world will stand with Israel and with every one of us. So I would like to thank everyone for joining today. I hope it gives you a sense of what happened in Israel, also what will probably continue to happen as Israel will react in terms of military reaction against Hamas. The Combat Antisemitism Movement has opened also a very large fundraising campaign for relief organizations across Israel that are helping the kibbutzim, helping the people, helping the soldiers. So you can go on our website, combatantisemitism.org, and feel free to support this organization. The donors of CAM are matching every donation that will be made to Israel. So every dollar will be $2 and so on and so forth. So please help us however you can, share the stories, help support Israel in these very challenging and difficult times. Thank you to the survivor for sharing your stories. Thank you very much.